Hello and welcome to the Advent 7 podcast. I'm your host Andrew, and today I'm here with a lovely barrage of people. I got Trey, Frank, Oscar, and Professor Shinobi. How you guys doing?
What's up, everybody?
Doing pretty well.
Good. Yeah, Sunday afternoon. It's a rainy Sunday where we're at.
It's raining where you guys are? It's raining in Lincoln? Sucks to
Oh.
suck.
Oh man, you suck. You guys actually having good weather. We've been having rain all weekend. It's like the one weekend
it rained
where I
all
don't.
day yesterday.
It's just been. I mean, it's spring, right? You know, it's March 6th. So
I mean, technically it's still winter, but yeah, sure.
According to the groundhog, we had 6 more weeks.
go suck it, Frank. You know, it's March. We're getting into spring territory. Okay, you miss me with that calendar crap. Okay, it was 80 degrees. It was 80 degrees outside the other day. Okay, in my opinion, we're exiting winter by this point.
Yeah, we're in defrost territory.
At the same time, snow can happen in spring. We're in Nebraska, so I wouldn't be surprised.
You think we have normal seasons in Nebraska? God.
I still can't get over how it snowed in May my senior year. I'm still blown away by that.
Yeah, dude. It's snowed in May my freshman year of college. I remember walking home from finals week. It was last day. It was Friday, like 3 p.m. I'm walking back. There's nobody else on campus by that point. I had like the last final of the whole school. And yeah, it just starts snowing. It was funny. But yeah, real quick. Anyways, today is just going to be a general discussion podcast day. Like, we don't have a specific topic in mind this time. Normally we do, but this time of year right now, not a whole lot's going on. And at the same time, this is our 20th official podcast that we've done for Advent 7 since its revival about almost 2 years ago. So I kind of like to do these once in a while just to give us the chance to talk to each other, and talk on stream really, and have any listeners like interact with us and say hi in the chat. I think that's valuable. So that's what we're doing today. We're just going to talk about, like what we've been up to and kind of just what's going on out in the world right now. But yeah, first of all, thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. We really appreciate it. Please check out some of our other content if you haven't already. There will be links in the description below. You can check out our latest Elden Ring stream starring Spencer and Matt. That was streamed yesterday, about mid-afternoon yesterday. There is also a new highlight video up of Trey getting chased around by Drifloon in Pokemon Legends Arceus. Incredibly hilarious. I encourage everybody to go watch him suffer, because he is just alone late at night and he gets surrounded by those things. Like, they're all over him. And please check out our full review of HBO Max's Peacemaker Season 1. It is currently up on our website. Our good friend Julian, he worked really hard on that. He loved the Peacemaker show. So did I, frankly. And he touches upon a lot of really good things and makes some speculations on what Season 2 of Peacemaker might have to offer when that comes out. So, for all things anime, video games, and comic books, please follow us on Twitter at advent_7. Visit our website, advent7.com, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. With all of that out of the way, on to the podcast. First thing, I do want to say this real quick, too. To anybody listening, please give some feedback on how the audio sounds. We had some audio issues leading up to the podcast here, and I just want to make sure that everything sounds good. So, yeah, with all that out of the way, how are you guys doing?
Minty.
Minty. Yeah. Who here actually bought a Shamrock shake?
Minty. Well, I didn't buy a Shamrock shake. I actually live kind of far away from the local McDonald's. The closest one is DQ, and it's like, I'll just get their mint chip shake, which apparently is more like mint shake interrupted by choking on pieces of chocolate.
Ooh. Yeah, that's not as fun. The Arby's mint shake that they have is kind of a ripoff of the McDonald's one. I mean, it's good, but yeah, there's like chocolate and other things in it that just interrupt the flow.
So I got a story for you guys for the Shamrock Shake podcast.
Oh, really?
So yeah. So the joke was, since we So for those of you who don't know, we did try to make a podcast for Advent 7 years ago. Like 4 or 5 years ago.
Right. This is the backstory behind why it's named this way. It's named Shamrock Shakes for this podcast episode for a very specific reason.
So yeah, we did that podcast years ago. It was during the time of Shamrock Shake coming back. We were talking about stuff like that. But so yeah, that's why this one was also going to be a Shamrock Shake podcast. And then the joke was we were all going to go out to the McDonald's if we had time and get a Shamrock Shake to sip on while we talk during the podcast. And apparently none of us have succeeded in this venture.
No, absolutely not. What I did is I went to Arby's for lunch, and I didn't even get a shake. I was like, I got back home and I'm eating my sandwich. I'm like, oh, wait a second. Oh, whatever, it's fine. It's fine. I had a Shamrock Shake Friday night, so, you know, it's like, that makes up for it, right? I think I still have the cup lying around here.
I have the remains and the corpse and the coffin. It's fine. It's like needing them anyway.
Yeah, totally. No, but like the first episode was called Shamrock Shakes, and that so Advent 7, we weren't always doing this. We first came up with the idea for Advent 7 back in like 2013, and the first time we tried doing a podcast was in 2015. And Trey and I were in college at the time, and we only had a couple other friends helping us. Ed was around back then too. So what we tried to do, because we thought, you know, like, we should do a podcast. This sounds really cool. We want to make an anime podcast. We have a lot to talk about. So we got one of my buddies. His name is Tony. He showed up in a few of our gaming streams. And he had all of this technical knowledge about how to operate microphones at the time and audio hardware. He's a big audio junkie. I was like 19 at the time. I didn't know anything about this hardware. I did not know what I was doing. So he had to handle all of that work. It was a pretty enduring process, but we managed to record one podcast episode, and it got edited and put out there. And if you look at our video backlog for the Advent 7 YouTube channel, that podcast is actually the very first video on our channel. It's the oldest one, published around March 19th of 2015. So it's there. You can go listen to it, and you can tell. It was definitely a budget podcast, for lack of better terms. It's not our finest hour, but like small beginnings, humble beginnings, right?
Humble beginnings. But I wanted to tell the story of how I was trying to get a Shamrock Shake for the podcast today. So I go out to the Walmart. This isn't even a big story.
You went to McDonald's at Walmart. Oh no, you were getting desperate.
Not the Walmart. I was going to the McDonald's that's really close to my house.
Yeah, down the street.
It was super simple. There was literally no one in line. There was like one person in front of me. I pull up to the drive-thru, and the first problem is, I guess I pulled up too far because I wanted to be able to see the menu. But whatever happened, when I pulled in, the people didn't recognize that I was there, because as I'm sitting there waiting to order, a car pulls up in the other lane and is able to order before me. So I'm like, okay, I gotta back up and try and trigger the thing again. And so when I back up, they were like, "Hi, what would you like at McDonald's?" While I'm sitting at the menu looking at it, I notice that they have a new type of Shamrock Shake. They have an Oreo McFlurry Shamrock Shake.
Oh yeah, that's kind of like an offshoot of the main shake, right?
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I want to have that. So I say, "Hi, can I have an Oreo McFlurry Shamrock Shake and a large fry?" Apparently the lady didn't hear me, because when she said, "Okay, your total will be $407," she only charged me for the shake for the
fries
McFlurry for the McFlurry.
Okay.
So I get up to the first one and I'm like, "Yeah, I also wanted fries, a large fry." So they put that on and I paid for that.
This is going so off the rails. This is so off the rails already. Like, just a simple, honest attempt to get a shake and fries has just become a nightmare logistically.
Yeah. And so I pull up to the next window, they hand me the bag with the fries, and then they hand me the McFlurry, and it's a regular McFlurry.
Oh no!
And I'm like, it's not worth it anymore. It's not worth it. So I tried.
You just took it and left, man. Honestly, like, I gotta be honest with you, man.
Oh my god.
The part where you failed, Trey, is that you didn't just go for the regular shake. You had to spice it up. You got too adventurous. You got too ambitious.
Mm-hmm. That
was the problem.
I just want to imagine that you go back in line and it's like, okay, hey, I actually ordered the Oreo one. They get you like that 2-pack of Oreos like it's a thing of soup, and it's like you crumble it yourself. I don't care. I'm not paid enough.
Oh no, they do that? They don't.
I don't think so. But
okay,
you know
that'd be a crime.
There are people who are so dead inside that they would be like, I wish I could do that.
Yeah, it is McDonald's. I don't envy them. I definitely feel for the workers there. I had worked in a restaurant for so many years. Yeah, it's fine. But at the same time, I paid for a McFlurry. I want a McFlurry. I don't want the ingredients for a McFlurry.
So yeah, I'm just sitting here eating this McFlurry. At least the machine was not broken, so I could at least get a McFlurry.
Oh, hey, that's pretty good. You know, that would mean that if they just hand you the ingredients, it would be the following: spoon that is somewhat a straw, ice cream, cup, Oreos, and a gallon of toothpaste.
Oh, no. Again, listeners, let me know if my mic in particular is like sounding off for any reason. Like, I think my levels are a little bit hot. But yeah, if anybody's listening, just let me know here.
The robot voice fixed itself.
It fixed itself? Okay. These guys, like, they're having trouble hearing me on Discord, but I think the output's probably fine. At this point, I'm just hoping that, like, the gain on my microphone isn't set too high. That's the hard part with these podcasts is, like, you know, I can't hear myself. Like, I could set it to monitor my own voice, but then the audience would hear 2 copies of my own voice. It gets kind of complicated.
I think it's weird, yeah.
I am not an audio engineer. I worked as a podcast producer for a startup for a few months, but my knowledge isn't so advanced that I know all the ins and outs of it. That's what Tony knows. He knows all that stuff about audio because he's just obsessed with it. Man, though, like that podcast, I can only listen to like the first 5 minutes of that very first podcast because our voices sound muffled in it. It's just funny. Again, we were in college, like we just wanted to try. It was a really good idea. But it took so much time and effort to produce that, I remember. And it took Tony like a few months to edit it because we were all full-time students. You know, being a full-time student.
Well, the funny thing is that I actually go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was finished.
I was just going to say, I actually remember walking by when you guys were recording the podcast episode because you actually had the door slightly open. Oh. So it was like, oh, they're recording. Oh, shoot, I should join in on that because they'll probably do an episode later. One decade later. Yeah, they did. It was,
hey, it was, what, 5 years later? It only took 5 years for us to come back. There were reasons for that. Like there are very good reasons for why Advent 7 kind of like took a break there, for lack of better terms. Like it, yeah. I started it in 2013 as just a website, and then it evolved a little bit further when we went to Nebraskon for the first time to cover press. Then we did it a second year in a row. The site was up for 2 years, getting like frequent content every week. And then it went dark around summer of 2015. The reason why is because I was, I think, a senior in college by that point, and I had to get a job. Like, I hadn't graduated yet, but I was going to graduate soon, and I needed to like pick up an internship because I was in journalism at the time. And I knew the way it worked is that you had to build up a resume and stuff before you even graduated to have a chance at getting a decent job after you graduated. So I had to really buckle down, and like I sadly had to just put Advent 7 on hold for quite a long time while I pursued a like professional quote unquote career in video production, and it was a career that I'm proud of. You know, I spent 5 years working for several different companies in several different industries, and I learned a lot. And everything that I learned from that 5-year career, I brought back to Advent 7 in 2020 and poured it into this channel. And that's what you're seeing now. That's what you're hearing now is all my cumulative knowledge, experience, and effort. I'm trying to make that pay off in our favor. So yeah, you know, I occasionally I wonder if anybody who doesn't know about the history of Advent 7 like says like, huh, like this seems kind of cool. Like they do podcasts and stuff. Wait, that they made videos like 7 years ago? What's that about? Where's the time gap come from? So yeah, I mean that's really what it was. I mean, Trey was there for the whole process. Like we lived together for years. So so he knows the whole story about how like I never wanted to let go of Advent 7, just I was forced to at the moment, but
life got in the way.
Got in the way, but thankfully this is going to sound really awful, but thankfully an opportunity arose when COVID struck. I got laid off. I got laid off from my job like 2 months after COVID struck. It was like May. Lost my job. And I was on unemployment benefits for like 6 months, and you know I was kind of bored. But I thought to myself, you know, like, well, I still want to like do cool stuff for myself for a change. Where could I put it? The answer was like staring me in the face. So, nah, dude, the opportunity.
First, you have to finish that YuGiOh video.
Oh God, which I'm not going to provide a link to that here because the YuGiOh video is published under my real name. It's published under my real full name, and I try to keep that separate from Advent 7 as much as I can, at least like on the public front. Maybe someday I'll link to it here. But yeah, like that was a short film that both Trey and Frank and Andrew, all three of you were heavily involved in. Like we produced that together, and Oscar, that's before we met you that we made this short film about YuGiOh. And
wait, is that the one with the live action?
Yes.
Video?
Yep. Yeah, it's live action. We shot it at college.
No, I met you before.
Holograms and everything.
Yeah, no, we knew Oscar during the anime club that same year.
We did.
Yeah, we knew him.
Maybe it was the same
involved.
exact year.
We just really never hung out as much.
Yeah, right. We didn't really know you as well back then. So.
Oh, that video was really fun to shoot.
That video, holy cow! Yeah, no, we shot like 2 days worth of footage, and we were exhausted. I remember how tired we all were by the end of it, but it paid off. It paid off because.
Do you remember why we shot that video in the first place?
Yes. Because Kyle had a project, and Andrew took it over.
So our friend Kyle is the blonde guy in the video. He wanted to do a project in which he would go in public and basically make a fool of himself to see reactions from people, to see what that kind of reaction would garner.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know why, but he looked at Trey, and both of them played YuGiOh. So like, well, we can do this. Why not? We'll do it. We'll just impromptu film a YuGiOh battle in the middle of like whatever and do that there, and then we'll just film people's reactions. Fucking Andrew's like, then we need a 3-point shot, blah yada yada, this that journalism. I'm like sitting there going like, oh man, this is gonna be a lot more work.
I have a bad habit. I will entirely admit, I've admitted this to the others before, but I will say it for the record. I have a very bad habit of coming up with a cool idea and then just making a big, grand fucking deal about it, and like just making it larger than life to the point that it's almost unmanageable.
Yeah. So cut to, we're filming inside the basement of one of the libraries, just making this throwaway shot that didn't need to be there at all for the project. Was basically
It was a setup for the fight.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it was
like,
necessary in terms of narrative. It was absolutely necessary.
Yes, but not for the project, though. That's the point. It wasn't necessary.
To put in perspective, Kyle was in like a psychology class. He was trying to do this for his psych class to see how people would react to it. Which, by the way, you do see a lot of really great public reactions in that video. Like you do get the psychology aspect of it.
My favorite is the guy yelling, walking by, going, "Send him to the Shadow Realm."
Dude, there's somebody in the background who just shouts like "fucking duel." Like just off in the background. I found that little snippet of audio and I just cranked it up so you could hear it. It's pretty great.
So you're probably gonna put this video in the iCard above.
No, I don't want to put the video there because again, it's under like my personal channel that I use for like professional means. Outside of Advent 7. Like again, someday I might link it here.
Yeah, this first shot was basically we choreographed how it worked, blocked it out, made sure camera movement was on point. I literally was carrying this camera down near the floor as I were walking behind them just to make sure that we're catching that tracking shot.
Right, which I don't think I had. I think that clip got corrupted, which is why I couldn't use it.
Yeah.
So it's really just a 3-point
wrong with trying
setup.
to put this film together.
The thing is, like, we'd never done a production on this magnitude. We'd never really done a video production at all together as a group of friends. That was the first thing we'd ever done, and my eyes are always larger than my appetite. So
I have a story for that later.
Okay, great. I just, I remember Kyle telling me that he wanted to make a video for it and asked me if I could help because I was studying broadcasting at the time. I said, yeah, I could do that. Easy. And, I organized a production crew. I rented like 5 cameras worth of equipment from the journalism school along with tripods. The rental lady, I knew her personally. She was very nice to me all the time. She let me borrow a cart to wheel all of the tripods and equipment and microphones. Yeah, I had literally a full cart's worth of camera equipment that we had to wheel out of the school building into the main area of campus where we filmed. It was big. It was a lot. But yeah, no, that video now has thousands of views. I'm not kidding. Several thousand views. And I remember saying the video to Kyle after it gained maybe 500 views, and he just responds with, "Oh no." He watches it and he's like, he watches it and he's like, "I regret." I think what he said to me was like, "I had forgotten all about this. I didn't think you were actually going to finish this. Oh my god." Because the problem is, again, we filmed that in 2016, just as I was graduating. This was within the same year that I had to leave Advent 7 for a bit. So I didn't touch that footage at all for 4 years. But finally, I came back around 2019 and I sat down and I hammered out the editing process for that film, which took a full year to finish. But I didn't just stop at cutting the footage and adding music and adding an intro. I also added animations to the entire scene. They're actually fighting with YuGiOh monsters on screen. Now, I used budget graphics. I just tore the images straight from their trading card, pictures. So they're 2D images on a live-action plane. But I added shadows and I added explosions, and it's just the cringiest, funniest thing. It was a year's worth of effort well spent and 4 years in the making altogether, but it was worth the wait, and I'm very proud.
You also
of that
added
video.
subtitles.
I added subtitles too, man. I captioned that thing like crazy. I took out an ad for it because I was applying for the jobs at the time, and I wanted to see how many views it could get. Yeah, I'm proud of that, dude. It's
You want the answer? Because I'm having it up right now.
It's at 6,000 views, isn't it?
6,077.
6,077.
We're so close to 6,900. So close.
Oh god.
Oh. You
Yeah,
gotta
dude.
get that to 69, folks. Come on.
It'll get there. It'll get there, I'm sure. At any rate, I've made it so easy for people to find this video now that they can clearly go find it. But I'm not going to link it. I'm going to make you go look for it. Yeah. Anyways,
go for the deep dive Elden Ring type of lore. You need to find out what the real answer is for this video.
speaking of Elden Ring, everybody's obsessed with that game lately. Frank, you're playing that game right now, right?
Yes. Even though I absolutely do hate Souls games, I decided, fuck it, why not? I'll play it. So I was talking with Matt and Spencer, and as well as Bronson.
Yeah.
Because we're like, we're figuring out how to. Because I want to stream myself doing this. However, I am nowhere near as good as Spencer is at the game.
Yeah, it's because
And so what I
Spencer
want them
doesn't
to
have a
do-
life. So he has all the time in the world to practice.
Yeah, so what I want them to do is I want them to sit on the sidelines and just absolutely mock me as I'm trying to play this game, because I have no clue how to play most Souls game, especially anything like Elden Ring.
Yeah. It's like, I know Spencer.
A lot of
dodging. I know Spencer spent years just getting. He spent so many hours getting good in one of the Dark Souls games. Like I can't remember if it was platinum or it was just really close to it. But
I think he platinum 3. I think that's what happened. Was he was platinuming 3? But here's how I started. I created my character, did the tutorial, not a problem. Got through it. As you walk out the area of the tutorial, you're met by a person. He's like, "Oh, you're new." Blah blah blah. I'm like, "All right, cool." There's no real guiding points to tell you where to go unless you follow what they have is basically their bonfires, which is called Sides of Grace. Okay. There's like a little wispy line that goes to the next one. I didn't follow it. I didn't know about that, so I just didn't follow it. I looked out one direction, was like, I'll go that way. Walked out. There's like this marshy area. We'll see a bunch of these guys just sitting there like yelling to the sky. And next, a dragon comes out of the ground and kills them all. And now I have to fight a dragon.
Ooh.
Yeah,
man.
Same dragon that Spencer tried to kill in the first stream.
And he did not
same
succeed.
exact dragon. Well, I mean, he did time to, prep, did all this stuff. I'm fresh out the gate, no real any experience and or equipment to handle such things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, there's a dragon. Well, we'll see how many times I can die to that. Died 15 times to that before I gave up.
Oh no!
And then walked away to somewhere or place where I got stuck on a cliff and I couldn't get my stuff back.
Ooh.
So if you die, all your money or runes drops where you died at. So in this ravine, there is a road going down below it. There's also the ravine cliffs and these things that are jutting out from the side. There's a monster there, so I jumped down, killed it, got my money. I'm like, cool. Well, how the fuck do I get from here? Well, I tried it. It was like, well, if I die on the ground, I can easily walk and pick it up and get it. Jumped off, died, realized that my death didn't, save to the ground. No, it's back on the cliff. So I'm like, well, shit. How do I do this? I died to that about 10 more times before I was able to figure out and get to the side safely.
Dude, I knew you were a masochist at heart. This game is perfect for you.
No, I'm a sadist. I like fucking with people, and
yeah, he's a sadist.
I'm a sadist.
Then look at it this way. This is
you go into other people's servers.
Yes, I would definitely go to other people's server and just make the boss harder, but not give him any help.
I look at it this way. Then. This is
this
just like your deserved karma at this point. Then.
Yeah, but this is like a much harder version of Breath of the Wild. There, I said it. Why not?
I mean, that's it's an open world, and there's fantasy, and everything's trying to kill you just a lot more violently. Yeah. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Dude, everything's Breath of the Wild nowadays. Halo is Breath of the Wild now, for crying out loud. Like nobody can deny that game had such a massive impact on the gaming industry when it came out like 5 years ago. that now like all these other games and franchises are just trying to mimic what Breath of the Wild started. I mean, heck, like Sonic Frontiers is probably going to be Breath of the Wild. I think it is.
Yeah,
I think it's open world, isn't it?
We saw that.
It's open world. How do you make a Sonic
Kirby game?
Oh my god.
I mean, which is sad because again,
Kirby.
you had Assassin's Creed 4 do that same exact thing except on a boat.
I'm on
Yeah,
a boat.
the boat thing didn't catch on except in Kingdom Hearts 3.
I'm trying to think. Nier Automata was not like an open world game, but it had massive sprawling landscapes that you could explore.
It's open in a lot of the ways, and there is a very thin narrative that goes through the whole darn thing, and then there are side missions as well. There's collectibles. There's not really too much in the world of crafting. There is some, but I don't know, man. If I ever call Nier Automata, I would not call it Breath of the Wild.
No, I wouldn't either. The reason why I bring it up is because a lot of people were calling Kirby and the Forgotten Land Kirby Nier Automata version. And it's like, yes, because of the apocalyptic landscape, but it's open world like Breath of the Wild. So it's kind of like a combination of both. Right?
Didn't
just
Skyrim
imagine
do that before?
Can we
And
get
then
a Kirby
Fallout 3?
too?
Yeah, probably. I mean, like, open world games have been around for an extremely long time. And what I actually think is a good thing to talk about, something I'd like to ask you guys, is what do you think definitively can be classified an open world game? Like, what is open world?
Oh, wow.
Literally no border. So any of the Grand Theft Auto games and any game where there's a seamless transition from location to location. That is the core definition of an open world game.
I think
So like
I
no
think
load
transition. I think
screens?
transition is a different. I think transition is probably
The key
detriment to
word.
that. Yeah, because if you Halo itself is parts of it is open world, but most of it isn't. Specifically, places underneath like the where the Forerunners were at. Most of that stuff is open world-ish. You really can't get to those without going to a specific mission. So I think Grand Theft Auto itself is like that because then there's other places you can go to that are different maps.
Yeah.
So I think Breath of the Wild is more that better that way because there was no real transition except for the shrines.
Yeah.
The shrines were the only places that had basically loading screens.
Where you're in
Either
like a
way-
closed off area.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
So I
see
think-
that.
So I think because if you transition from one place to another, that's different. Because in Breath of the Wild, you can walk from one end map to the other. And I think, what's the one that recently came up? Gears of War 5 had that like hub world area, where it was like a frozen wasteland you had to cross most of the time.
Okay.
I haven't played it that much, but I know that was there. But
Well, to me, like, here's another thing that might qualify whether or not a game is open world, and it's non-linear playstyle. You don't have to go in a specific direction that the story beckons you to go. Case in point, when you start Breath of the Wild, the only real main storyline quest you get from the get-go is called Defeat Ganon. That's it. So like you could just go straight to Hyrule Castle and go fight him. Now, like, will you win? That you gotta be really good if you don't have like at least 5 hearts, maybe more. But you could do it. People have done it. They've just ran straight to Ganon with like 3 hearts and like smacked his butt. So also a game needs to let you freely go where you want to. It's up to the player to decide the order of events by which they play the game, where they go to, and what happens. That's what Elden Ring does. Case in point, Frank went the wrong direction and had to fight a dragon from the get-go and got raffle stomped. Like that is definitively an open world game in my opinion. Also,
most open world games either have no set end game, or if they have an end game, it's just there, but there's no clear path to get to end game.
right, you can take any path
Well,
to
then
get
There's
there. It's
options.
non-linear.
I would say options is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like Skyrim and doing all the side quests before doing the main quest. I mean, you got
Right.
a choice. So
Yeah.
Well,
can
then
do
you
what
get things
want
like
to.
Deus Ex, where some of them are definitely, oh, it's open world, you can go do whatever you want. But at some points, they really close the hallway down on you to be like, oh no, city's in lockdown, so you can't do X, Y, Z, A, B, C, or D. You're going to have to choose between L and M. It's like, okay.
Yeah, like if the game is
Yeah, but
going to
what-
do that to you, if it's going to lock you into you are only allowed to do A or B moving forward in the game, like that has to happen towards the end of the game. Otherwise, that's not very open world, right?
I think the last big open world game I actually played is either Yakuza 0 or Spider-Man.
Yep, Spider-Man definitely would be an open world game. It's semi-linear because it has an actual storyline that it wants to.
Right.
But the whole,
You can go through the whole map at the beginning of the whole darn thing.
yeah,
There's really nothing to be like, oh, you can't go to this area. It's locked. It's like, screw you, I'm Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Sorry, I cut you off, Frank. What were you gonna say?
No, so does that mean that the game itself is limiting the map itself? Again, same thing with Assassin's Creed. Big old map most of the time, but you can't get to certain places without it locking down, going, hey, do this, and you'll get all this stuff to unlock the rest of it. So a lot of that, because a lot of it limits it because it's based on the narrative. Most people
like the
don't.
diving bell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can't visit some of the ruins or the shipwrecks underneath without the diving bell in Assassin's Creed 4. Because you can't swim long, you can't breathe on the water, you can't hold your breath long enough to do that.
So that's like the difference for like Ocarina of Time, where you are able to access a good chunk of the map by the time you hit Tormenta Field, but there's a lot of equipment you don't have.
Yeah. So at that point, it limits it and makes it not an open world where you're not free from the get-go.
Mm-hmm. Right. Like you have to meet certain requirements in order to progress in certain areas. You can't just go there if you feel like going there. Which I think Breath of the Wild had elements like that too. If you wanted to go somewhere, you needed certain equipment.
You can survive long enough. I mean, you can survive long enough without it.
You
had all the things from the beginning. You had all the things from the beginning. Drinking potions to, ward off heat from like Death Mountain, or, cooling potions for the desert and Gerudo. You can do all that stuff.
Yeah,
from the beginning.
You can go up Death Mountain, you're just gonna die, but the game's not gonna stop you from trying.
I mean, it tells you right at the beginning, hey, you can have this suit, or find these potions and make them. But
here's the thing.
It doesn't stop you from doing that.
I didn't get told that before I went there. I just went there.
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
Well,
I just went
if you follow...
It is funny to me, the order of events by which you can tackle each of the, like, 4 great beasts, like the 4 great bosses in Breath of the Wild. Death Mountain is generally agreed upon by the fan base for Breath of the Wild as the hardest boss and should be one of the last ones you go for. I went to that one first. So I didn't talk to anybody at the horse stable nearby the base of Death Mountain. I didn't hear anything about potions. I didn't hear anything about a suit of armor. I just went there and I died a lot. And I can't remember, like, I think eventually I just happened to stumble upon the right horse stable. Somebody gave me one. I was like, oh my god, this is what I need. So I bought like a crap load from him, not knowing that you can actually synthesize these yourself, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, no, they're not that hard to make. You can make it from there's a specific lizard that has it in Death Mountain. That
just got
you
captured
grab the tail from them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that, so I just spent a ton of money, like absolutely fruitlessly on these things. I managed to get to the top, but it was super hard. It was really hard to get to the top with the few potions I had. I had to parse them out, use them wisely. And when I got to the top, then I was able to buy like the suit of armor there, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that was. But again, the game doesn't stop you. You can do that if you want to. Something that our good buddy Patrick told me a while back. Patrick, who helps with like the Nebraskon movies, he said to me that he views the original Pokemon games as open world. What do you guys think about that?
Like Red and Blue?
Yeah.
Never played those.
I think his basis was saying that you can freely explore an area. And you can go wherever you want to within that area. Like, the game isn't going to stop you. But I don't think that's true, actually, now that I think about it.
Didn't you need the Pokeflute to get rid of the Snorlax on one of the routes?
Yes.
You do.
Yes, you do.
As the resident Poke expert, he's very, very wrong.
I was definitely going to agree on that sentiment. Mostly because gyms literally hand you, it's like, okay, here's the thing you need to clear to get over that hurdle.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, I'm not gonna speak for him. I did not like get a full background on his opinion of why he said that. That is just what he told me about like a week ago, and it made sense at the time. But now that we're talking about this and I think about it, like, you can't go straight to the Elite Four. Like, somebody will literally stop you and tell you, "Oh no, this is the way the Indigo League. You gotta go back."
Yeah, like literally, they do a badge check through the whole thing, and for the Indigo League, it's like, oh, you're not allowed. Oh, sorry, you do have this badge. Please continue. Oh, sorry, you can't go through here. You don't have this badge. I literally just did this 6 other times, used 6 other HMs, pulled out a Slowpoke out of my box to try to get over to this place, because apparently walking is not accessible for you people, to tell you, yes, I beat this person. Do you not keep records?
Yes, there are a lot of barriers in the game, actually, now that I think about it.
I mean, we can digitize Pokemon, but we can't, send an email, it seems.
But yeah, I think what Patrick was trying to get at is the first-gen games technically have the most choice you can have in a Pokemon game up until recent history.
Mm-hmm.
So,
oh yeah,
in the first-gen games, up until once you beat Lieutenant Surge, actually, when can you use Cut?
Cut is after. I think Cut is the HM that Misty gives you.
Yeah, so
really?
Once you have Cut, you can technically do most of the gyms out of order. The only gyms that you have to do are, it's like you have to beat Brock and Misty, and then technically the world is mostly open for you.
Except
you can
for
do
Cinnabar Island.
Yeah, Cinnabar Island is one of the ones that's kind of a stop point, because you would need to have Surf, which means you'll have to beat Koga to get Surf.
Yeah, but I think you can bypass get to Koga, because I had a neighbor that did that out of order without realizing it.
Yeah, you can totally do it. It's not advisable.
No, I would not do it.
It's not advisable, but technically you could skip around in Kanto. So technically that one has the most open world, as long as you know where the specific items you need to, as long as you know where the Pokeflute is to get rid of the Snorlax, and you just know that whatever is blocking your path, like, I don't think there's any strength puzzles that you need to conquer to get anywhere, except for when you need to get the Surf HM.
I think Victory Road has strength puzzles on it, and if you want to capture Mewtwo, you have to.
Victory Road's already the road. The badge check is already the roadblock, so by the time you get to Victory Road, you have to have all the badges, so.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's really funny to me how, like, the term open world, like, everybody seems to accept that term when you hear it in the description of a game, and that immediately colors your perception of, like, what type of game it's going to be. And open world games are probably the most popular type of game out there right now. Lots of people play them. But I brought up this conversation.
There's also a lot of them that will use. Okay, ahead.
No, I just want to say I brought up this conversation because I realize I don't think everybody has the same exact definition of that term.
Well, it also gets kind of diluted because you have the whole definition of what is a sandbox versus what is open world, and it's like, well, they're the same. No, they're not. I mean, what about Gary's mod? It's like, oh god.
Right.
The one true open world, Minecraft.
Yes, the one true open world.
Get out of
Yes.
here.
Procedural generated, forever, going on forever. As long as
Oh,
you're,
sure, you can find the resources and go fight the Ender Dragon if you want. You're not gonna be ready.
Yeah, but you can walk in endless direction and find whatever.
And you can hit bedrock, and then you can be like, oh, what's this weird green rock? I want to dig through it.
No. Now, because my definition of open world is basically not that you're, it's pretty big and open. You can actually go anywhere you want to. It's that even if you're limited based on equipment or whatever levels or whatever you're having that's limited, the story is what limits you, not the base mechanics. So,
yes.
like, again, one of my first ones is Assassin's Creed. That was one of the first open worlds I played. Well, most of the Assassin's Creeds are. But basically, I can get my base ship from one end to the other. But the problem is the higher level difficulty of all the enemies on that side of the map will kick my shit in as fast as the minute I pop on their radar. But I can still do it. I can still actually weave in between both and, in between ships and get to the other end. It doesn't limit me that. It's just that the story does.
Right. You can still go there if you want to. It's just probably not recommended. The first open
Ghost of
world
Tsushima
game
was the same way too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, you start off at the bottom of the map and you can make your way north. But towards the top of the map, you're facing enemies that are probably a lot stronger than you.
Gotcha. Okay. I think the first open world game I ever actually played was Fusion Fall by Cartoon Network.
Let's go. That's almost an open world game. There's a couple of transition scenes that you have to go through.
But the reason why, okay, so this sounds weird, right? But I can vouch for the authenticity of Fusion Fall being open world, because the whole concept of that game was to combine all the fictional worlds from all these separate Cartoon Network IP shows and literally combine them into one vast open world that you could explore. If you wanted to literally walk from the Powerpuff Girls house to Peach Creek and the cul-de-sac where Ed and Eddie lived, you could do that.
Yeah,
you could literally
I actually
walk
remember getting lost one time and ended up in the worst area possible. So yeah, that actually was an open world game. Never mind.
There was a train. There's a hyper fast travel train that you can hop on to take you to different places because it's just such a big area. And like Breath of the Wild, the game world renders in new areas as your character goes through them. So the train, you jump on it and you can see landscapes that render in as you get closer to them. I one time got curious. I must have been maybe a few weeks into the game. I was playing the beta for Fusion Fall. It hadn't even officially been released yet. It was a free beta. And I just thought, I wonder how far this train goes. Let's see. So I hop on it. I exit the base part of the game, like the beginning area where all the newcomers are and most of the hub world stuff is at. And, I see the Powerpuff Girls house go by. I see Dexter's laboratory go by. And eventually, I'm just traveling through suburbs. There's still landmarks here and there, but the train keeps going. And I remember I rode on this thing for 30 minutes until I accidentally fell off the platform. Because it's not a physical train, it's just a moving platform that you stand on that's on a rail. So you can hop off at any time. I got bored and I was running circles and I accidentally fell off and I landed in the middle of a level 80 enemy zone.
Oh!
Smooth.
I died extremely fast. But here is the real kicker that shows Fusion Fall was still in its beta at the time. It could not spawn me at the beginning area I left anymore. It kept respawning me in that level 80 area of the game. I had saved somewhere previously, but the game auto-saved. So, it already overwritten my previous spawn point. I was just constantly respawning and dying, like live, die, repeat in this level 80 area, which, by the way, no other players were in. None of the players had gotten that far. The game was only out for 2 weeks. Like, everybody was still like in the teens for leveling. So there was nobody to help me. I had no idea how to even get hold of the devs to ask them to help. So I just had to create a whole new profile. Like, I had to start from scratch all over again, just abandon that character I had created and I've been grinding on. So
No,
yeah,
you should
man.
have fought.
I tried.
He tried, and he died.
I actually tried fighting my way out of there for, I kid you not, 2 weeks.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Well, I did not, apparently.
The do not was stronger than the do.
Yeah.
So apparently you get isekai'd and you just died continuously, and it was just ReZero except no progress.
Pretty much. And even then, ReZero doesn't have a lot of progress, so the bar was already very low.
Ooh,
Hey, Andrew, speaking of isekai, weren't you telling us something about
This
earlier?
is a proper moment to transition in the next subject topic. Yes. So, Frank, Oscar, before you guys hopped in, me and Trey and Professor Shinobi here, we were talking about isekai in general. And I forget what initiated the conversation we were having. We wanted to save this for the podcast, but we were talking about why isekai is so popular now and why sci-fi just, like, Trey, I think you were the one who said, like, has there ever been, like, an isekai where you get transported to a sci-fi setting instead of a fantasy setting?
I believe that was my question.
Okay,
Yeah,
it was your
his
question. Well, you brought up that question, Professor Shinobi, and all three of us kind of thought about it and realized we can't think of one that's done that. Like, there is not an isekai, at least right now, or recently released, that sends the main character to a sci-fi setting or a cyberpunk setting instead of pure fantasy. And I think there's a good reason for that. I think that while it's a cool concept,
because cyberpunk is depressing.
there you go. There you go. Yes, it is depressing.
If you realize that, you have more fun in fantasy because it's like magic and shit everywhere. You see goblins, orcs, and, well, not goblins. Goblins are sometimes scary sometimes, but, like, elves and shit like that everywhere. It's very mystical and fun. No one wants to live in a Black Mirror world. No one wants to do that.
Oh, yeah, because nobody is going to miss indoor plumbing whatsoever.
Fuck it, I don't care. I'll shit in a hole in the ground for
I mean,
weeks.
think about it. I'm pretty sure ReZero still has toilets to some degree. They have magic. They have magic. They don't need modern plumbing.
Yeah, and you're isekai as a poor peasant with no magic, so good luck shitting in the woods with the bear.
That's a good point.
And goblins.
Again, but Cyberpunk is even worse because at that point you realize nothing you do matters. Everything around you is moving too fast for you to matter. That's the point of most of Cyberpunk, is that everyone has been kicked into the ground so hard. That's all they know at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
Right.
Well, that's a dystopian cyberpunk.
Well, yeah, and it doesn't have to be dystopian either. It doesn't have to be depressing like what Frank is describing. But I think he's onto something. I don't think an isekai that sends you to a sci-fi setting would work, because viewers nowadays don't want to be sent to a sci-fi setting because that's too realistic. That is void of fantasy in a positive sense, a purely positive sense. You don't get to escape. If anything, you are like being presented a different reality that is still going to have its ups and downs. It's not entirely just fun all the time. There's no magic involved. It's just advanced science. So,
And a possible future too.
Sci-fi as a genre, like I'm at this point, I'm going off my own personal opinion. Somebody's going to correct me or call me out on this, but I'm going to say it right now.
Sure.
Sci-fi is a genre that was invented to warn people of the future. It is not meant to be happy. It is actually meant to be, a precautionary tale of don't let our world, our reality come to this because it's very possible if the right powers that be gain the right resources to make it happen. There's always a hierarchy that wants to be more powerful than the masses. That's how dystopian futures happen. That's look at 1984.
Think the verb that we're looking for is consider the future, not war.
Yeah. Consider the future. Consider what's possible. There's still cool stuff that can happen, for sure.
Absolutely.
But
Like, I mean, the only other sci-fi world that seems to be cool in is Star Trek. Star Trek would seem to be the only sci-fi world in which, you know, humans and society on Earth create a utopia.
Yeah, but I don't really like the idea of the Borg.
Yeah, you know,
alien species though, so it's
yeah,
fine.
we can you know deal with
Well,
that
I mean,
later.
who-
But like the society as humans, you know, we created a utopia on Star Trek. In Star Trek, utopia created, you know, vast swaths of space we charted, met other, you know, humanoids and all that stuff, created the Federal Galactic, you know, Federation. But every other place, Star Wars is crap. I'd rather not live on Tatooine or any other Outer World planets.
Tatooine, they just don't realize it.
Or I don't want to be on Coruscant, where the literal lower depths of the planet are run by gangs, where the police have to hide their face, voice, and identities, and sometimes genetics from even criminals.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
Cyberpunk.
the fact that they have rancors running around in the very deepest parts of Coruscant.
They
Yeah.
have rancors on Coruscant? Huh.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure in one of the books there was like someone went really deep and they
Yeah, but
saw a bunch
that's-
of creatures and
Yeah,
No,
that's Legends. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore.
fine.
That's EU Star
Yeah,
Wars.
Star
We don't talk
Wars-
about that anymore.
It's definitely one of those series that's like, okay, these 5 things are canon. Maybe 7 other things. Everything else is fan fiction, even though we directly funded it.
Are you Skywalker? No. Good luck then. But
oh,
no,
you know what?
yeah.
You can just do what Ray did. Just say you're Skywalker. You're good
Just
to go.
say it.
No, we're not doing this. We're not going down this. Get me out of here.
The only thing I really want to do. The only thing
Anyways, in general society, do you ever guys watch the movie iRobot?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yes,
Yep.
I've also read the book.
Okay, so the whole point of the books was basically saying technology can get us so far, but certain things will happen and things will change, and that it could change for the worse for some of us.
Yeah,
The
maybe
point-
not
the whole point
everybody.
of the 3 laws is that, the whole point of the 3 laws of robotics, as created by Isaac Asimov, is basically they can't hurt us. We can't hurt them to a certain extent, to them to being destroyed, and they cannot hurt themselves. Somehow or another, things will go haywire, and somehow all 3 of those will be broken, and it will turn on us.
There is a quote by Asimov that says that he wrote the 3 robotics and then wrote several books explaining why that is actually a really broken system.
Yeah.
It's like I wrote the 3 laws, but I immediately realized that the 3 laws are easily broken. If the AI
so
is smart.
easily broken.
The AI is, as soon as the AI gets smart enough, it's over. It's like they will realize that the biggest threat to humankind is humankind, and thus they must be eliminated to save
Go
humankind.
full Ultron.
Yep.
So like you know, Cyberpunk itself is depressing in its own matter.
Let me depict
Also-
to you.
But fantasy can be fun.
It could be fun. Let me.
There's also a thing.
a what?
It's like, so here's the thing. When you get isekai back in, when anime characters get sent to fantasy world in isekai, technically they're a modern person in a medieval setting nine times out of 10. So they have knowledge in some ways that will break the system and make them a god easily.
That puts
You
you
can
ahead of the
Yes.
curve. That puts you ahead of other people.
Yes.
You get sent there, so an average person in today's society who doesn't have the resources to excel, they get put into a setting where they can excel easily.
Yeah,
Yes,
you put
but
someone
can you-
in the future, they're
Yeah, can-
screwed.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's
can
even
you
worse.
hack several different?
What about
main
Dr.
points?
Stone?
Well, see, they overdid it. They went so far into the future that we reverted back to caveman
Yeah,
times.
Dr. Stone
Yeah,
did
so
both.
it's still science-based, and it still is, let's put someone else in the future. Oh, I'm from the past. Did you know we've been on the moon? What? Nah, you can't fly that high.
Dr. Stone does not break this rule that we're essentially discussing here because he still gets sent to a setting where he is smarter than everybody else and can excel like significantly, far more than he would have in his present era. So, you know, he's still put above everybody else.
One thing though they don't really ever explain in Isekai though is if you take someone from a modern time, or if anybody is transported somewhere else entirely, there's a good chance you're gonna get sick and die. I mean,
Oh yeah,
your
absolutely.
body is not used
Modern
to
medicine.
any. I mean, one little cut and something that is harmless to the general population will probably make you swell up and close your lungs and end up bleeding out of every orifice. I mean,
That's why we have the healing waifu. She comes in and saves us at the last second, and then we never have to worry about it again.
yeah. How many isekais have a healing waifu? I mean, do all of them?
Oh, pretty much all
A
of them.
lot of them do.
You said a very dumb question there. All of them does for some reason. All of them.
Well,
Or
okay.
the main
I mean, I
character
don't know if I
has-
But
would
it's
count
not for that
Aqua
purpose.
as a waifu, but yes.
They're not there for the purpose of healing, though. They're for the purpose of being waifus. It's just for like an assortment. It's for variety's sake.
This job literally
it's
is
not
to
for
be a
healing
goddess and
sake.
heal. That is her job.
She doesn't do that. She gets
Yeah, 'cause
drunk.
she's a fucking moron.
She gets drunk all the time, man. Yeah, dude. So it's like they get sent
Yeah,
there,
her
but
class is
they
that
don't
she's
actually.
an art priest. She's supposed to heal.
They don't actually
her
heal
job.
anybody. It just doesn't matter if it's
Yeah.
a job. She doesn't freaking do it. So like, I think
And
I think
Aqua
Oscar's
technically
question
kill
perfectly
someone
viable.
by purifying their blood into water.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you
yeah,
definitely
could,
can.
totally could.
He
Again,
has enough int to pull that off.
Sorry,
She
Again,
just
the
has
only-
to touch you and you're dead.
I mean, the only time that I ever saw fantasy becoming very sad is Grimgar of Ash. Have you guys seen that show?
I have
No.
not. No, but
The
I know what
only
you're talking
time
about.
you've seen okay, let me get this straight. The only time you've ever seen a fantasy anime turn sad is that one, because I can think of two right off the bat.
I mean, isekai in general, but I could
Okay,
care less about
Isekai. There we go. Sorry, I was about
Isekai
to
in
give
general.
up.
I'll say isekai in general, because Grimgar and Ash basically 20 or so people get isekai from all different walks of life, old, young, all that stuff. And they're told, hey, you're gonna get some powers. You're new to this world. Live in it. Have fun. And they're shipped off to the thing. Subsect of them become, heroes, these top tier adventurers and all that stuff. Most of them are bottom tier. Most of them are bottom tier, as, difference in talents are. Most of them are bottom tier. And it gets really sad because at some point, their main hope for living in this life dies. And then they have to figure out how to recover from that.
One other
That
thing
sounds
that
like the premise of solo leveling.
I mean, but
maybe,
that's not isekai though. That's coming from someone that's invading someone else's world.
I
So
do
we call
wanna,
that the reverse isekai, don't we?
How would I describe it? Basically, it's like, oh, there's a gate. Well, there's a fun level behind it. We'll do there. Earth is a hub world.
It's like, was Gate considered an isekai?
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, because they do literally go to another world. They have connections to our world. It's not like a one-way ticket. There's literally a portal that they can go through to send supplies. But yeah, I guess it's an isekai.
I think, well, if no one cares for spoilers,
Depends on what source.
I was about to say, what is
for
the
Gate
show?
in the manga, at least from what I've read, but I guess
we'll
I
just
won't
put
talk about it. if no one wants me to.
They have to. They learn how to close it. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no,
Like, they're not gonna make a second season of that.
Yeah, that's the only thing. It's they're so far past from that. I mean, well, I can't say that. Spice and Wolf is getting what third season, two seasons, second season.
No, dude, like
I think it's a
some type of
reboot.
sequel. It's a reboot. So yeah.
That's at least from what I've read. It's allegedly a complete reboot.
Perfect.
Allegedly, I don't know. And talking about new things coming out, apparently Netflix is making a BioShock movie or something.
Yeah, with Seth Rogen and what?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm thinking of. Is it BioShock or am I thinking of Fallout? Because Seth Rogen's in one of those things.
No,
didn't even know Fallout was
Walter
getting
Goggins is Fallout.
Is Bioshock an isekai that's science-based?
No, that is alternate universe.
That
mean,
is
It's a
that you're
bunch of
stuck
parallel
in.
worlds.
You don't start in our world and get sent there. You're already there.
Yeah,
But part of the story is that you fly a plane, you crash plane, you go underwater, you end up in underwater city.
yeah. So technically, what happens is that is already existed. The world of Rapture separated from the U.S. It was like, fuck this. We're not paying taxes. I'm not paying to the government. All that stuff. And then he builds his own city underwater. You just fly a plane over the Atlantic and happen to crash there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a small Kai. It's a small.
It starts with a vehicular crash. You wake up in an unknown place.
Well, not really unknown
And you're
because
overpowered as hell.
No,
because
you as
you're
a
the
main
chosen
character-
one.
No, it's not
you were
unknown.
actually the main character in BioShock. You find out later in the game that you were brainwashed to actually cause the plane crash at that exact spot so you could be at the city at that time.
Sounds like something out of the Twilight Zone.
You're also born there and sent off. Like again, it's
Yeah.
not that it's unknown. People know where this is at. Just no one goes there anymore.
That would be a hell of a twist for an isekai. Is that? Oh no, you're actually originally from here.
Yeah, that's Moonlight Fantasy.
with a truck.
Yeah,
That's Moonlight Fantasy.
Wow,
Basically,
I
Moonlight
have other
Fantasy.
things to watch now.
Moonlight Fantasy is awesome. It is great.
It is a fun show, but oh my god,
I definitely
it's
stand
isekai
behind
trash
the-
at its finest.
I definitely stand behind the definition, though, that like you have to actually go to another reality that you were not originally from in order for it to qualify as an isekai.
Or at least aware of. You can't
can be
have known
aware
this
of
place
it.
existed.
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
Well, okay. I see what you're saying. No, I don't think you can be aware of it. I think it has to be new. Has to be something. that
So
you're
is
not-
Atlantis, the Lost City, counting as an isekai or not?
No, because it's still part of Earth.
Still
Okay,
part of Earth.
so-
We know it. We know
He's-
tales of it.
So it
How
has to be
does
similar.
Stargate fall into this then?
They're transporting to a different planet. They're a bunch of aliens.
What is that? Not another world?
It's still the same universe. Fine, same universe. How about that? Same dimension.
Okay, well I got it. I'm not trying to like keep making sure that we got it wrong or trying to get you in aha moments. I'm just trying to make sure that when I say, oh yeah, Stargate is an isekai, that not every circle on this podcast turns green.
Oh,
So
God.
Thanos is an isekai character.
No.
He's from the same
he's
universe.
still in the same universe.
Dimension in time.
Same reality.
I mean,
How about that? How about
He
that?
did go from one Earth to another
No, he
in
didn't.
Endgame. I mean,
No, he
Are
didn't.
you
is
telling me that
different.
Dr. Stone is not an isekai because it's the same time?
Yes, it is a soft isekai, but it is not an actual isekai.
I mean, Thanos brought his warship to get all the Infinity
That's time
Stones,
travel.
I
That
mean,
doesn't count.
but it's still a different Earth.
I mean, so would you count? Okay, so the whole point of Fallout, basically Fallout. We'll take Fallout 4, the most recent mainstay Fallout game. Basically, you wake up 200 years into the future after you're frozen, after everything went off. People have rebuilt all of society to a certain extent, and you're woken up in there. Is that isekai?
I would say so.
The
Then you're
world
the-
is different than when you left it. You won't be able to recognize it, so I would
But
say
you're-
you'll have
but
to
you're
learn new
technically-
skills to survive.
But he still had the same skills. He was a army veteran. It's the same
Yeah,
skills he
but
had before.
I don't think the
Transfer
army
over.
veteran from 200 years prior knows how to deal with dog-sized cockroaches.
Well, we also have like Assassin from Another World as an isekai right now, and his skill set directly translates.
Yeah, because he's not from that universe or dimension or whatever. I don't know how you want to describe it that way. Gods who are rule over multiple planes of existence can. I don't care about that.
I feel like I'm losing.
Okay, so I looked up the Wikipedia article for isekai. There's two different types. There's transition into another world, isekai tenni, or reincarnation into another world, isekai tensei.
Yeah, so if you die and go to a different world, your soul moves to there. That's that soul. That's the reincarnation.
Yeah, that's what we are calling hard isekai. Soft isekai is you just transport there. A Stargate, whether through time or a portal or like a well that transports you 1,000 years into the past.
Yes.
So is H.G. Wells' Time Traveler, is that a...
Oh, God.
That would be the isekai tenni.
It's time travel. It's time travel. But he does go to different...
He doesn't move.
Earth.
He doesn't
Spoilers, it's Earth.
It's still
he
Earth.
doesn't move from position. He just moves laterally through time. Yeah.
You know, I'm leaning more towards the fence that time travel doesn't count as isekai. It's not a different world. It's your same world, just, you know, older.
Because I isekai when I go to sleep. How about
that? Yeah, there you go.
But I have to say with the last sentences in the first paragraph. Common methods of death, including being run over by a truck, spawning the meme of Truck-kun, a truck that appears in many isekai series that sends various characters to the next world. Citation needed. Have you watched it? Truck-kun is absolutely a recurring character.
Maybe someone should make a really funny anime where it's like the time variance authority, but they create Truck-kuns and send them off to kill people to send them to where they have to go.
Oh God! Create the whole Truck-kun conspiracy. Hilarious. That's actually a fantastic idea.
TikTok.
I'd watch that. Is an anime based on Truck-kun. I'm looking this up now.
This is a TikTok that is waiting to happen. Anyways,
I just want to see somebody make something like that where they specifically make trucks and the trucks are like sentient, but nobody really knows it, and like they try to press the brakes, but the truck goes and kills people, and
the trucks are sent out to target the most like average loser-looking Japanese dudes in every single reality and just snipe them.
It's definitely a joke like that in an isekai somewhere. I know. Oh, it was in the Overly Cautious Hero. That was part of their joke.
Oh, please tell me he was a god.
There's a manga called Isekai Transporter.
Yeah, that's
and the cover is the truck, and it's about to run over somebody, and it just has an arrow that says hero.
That's fair enough, yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so while we're on the subject of anime, does anyone remember what happened during the Anime Awards? Anyone?
Honestly, honestly,
I
didn't look at the Anime Awards because they didn't have a show. They didn't have a show, so they didn't have awards shows, so I didn't have the interest to look at the results. I'm sorry.
Same here.
They did have a nice little Twitter space with the Crunchy Cast people, so
yeah, they noticed
Kurt
you.
Ritchie, Tim Liu, and Crystal plus Crunchyroll Hime were all posting a Twitter space thing. I listened.
Is her name actually Crunchyroll Hime?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. The VTuber.
Okay, I'm looking that up too.
Hime for short, but yeah. Yeah, dude, you were actually like some of your questions or comments were noticed by the.
Yeah,
you're 100% right on that.
Yep. So yeah, that was really fun. I tuned in and I sent off random tweets to try and obviously I wasn't trying to get noticed, but it was funny when they actually pulled some of my stuff. Like one of them was just a random answer to like, because they were talking about about the music anime. What was the music? The battle music anime.
Tac Top Destiny?
Yeah, Tac Top Destiny, and they were trying to make jokes about musical notation. So I sent out a tweet, Mezzo Forte, and that was one of the things that got mentioned. I was like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then they also mentioned stuff about Taxi, like when they were talking about. So yeah, what was your pick for anime of the year? I'm like, Odd Taxi, I made a whole video about that, and they read that out loud, so that was great.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah.
They actually shouted out your video that you mentioned?
Well, they didn't shout out my video, but in my tweet I said I wanted Odd Taxi to win. That was my anime of the year. I made a whole video about it,
And
so
they
didn't
at least
see
recognized
the video
that
or
comment.
anything. That's it.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. That's really cool. I'm happy to hear that, man. You know, the fact that I'm willing to bet that there probably weren't a lot of people in that tweet space, and that works out in our favor because they noticed you.
Yep.
I mean, like, I saw so many people on Twitter saying the same thing. Well, if there's no awards show, then I don't really care. You know, that's the sad truth about it. But there were good reasons why they didn't do the awards show. I think Crunchyroll went on record later to say that it was mostly due to COVID that they could not align all the right people to make an actual production happen.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
They could have done the virtual thing like they did the year before.
In my opinion, I think there are ways to make a virtual show happen remotely with video editing stuff. I mean, heck, look at us. Like, everything we do is remotely over the internet together.
Yeah, we don't have a budget.
We don't even have a
I'm
budget.
not getting reimbursed for that shake.
Nope. The only reimbursement you get is the minty toothpaste satisfaction in your mouth. But
And the
you know, but
occasional
that's my
chocolate
opinion.
chip.
I don't know what goes behind the scenes of Crunchyroll. Not that I haven't tried. I have applied to work there before, and I never really got to
Well,
the
they're
interview
definitely not
process.
paying any more people since they're now collapsed with Funimation, and they're just going to take their staff and then lay off the rest.
If they ever send me a job offer, I'll tell you what, Evan 7's still gonna live. It just, you know, won't have a lot of me in it for a while. But I don't
Yeah.
think that day's
we
coming.
Use that clout. You can use your clout.
I don't think that.
Stuff.
Yeah, you're
That's fine.
right. Right. I'll use my clout as an employee of Crunchyroll to promote Avon 7. But in the meantime, nah, that ain't happening. So it's all good. But yeah, it's okay. You know, it's okay. Like, hopefully there'll be an awards show next year that we can watch and do a live reaction to, because I wanted to do that.
Possibly. I mean, that at first I'm gonna watch a lot of anime, and I'm looking through the 2022 list, and I'm like, crap! I've only seen like 3 of these.
Well, also in my defense, like, this current season of anime, the winter season for 2022, did not have a lot of bangers in it.
I'm sorry.
What?
A
Wait,
season
what?
with My Dress Up
Oh boy,
Darling
a hot take!
Yeah. My Dress Up Darling, the anime of winter 2022, which I called before the anime even came out, and I was right. And then you have Attack on Titan. What else is currently out? Like My Hero? Is My Hero still doing new episodes?
No, that's not this year. Not yet.
That's not yet.
World's in
Okay.
harem.
Okay, World Ends Harem. Like, you know, I haven't watched that yet. It's definitely on my bucket list. I'll tell you what.
Also known as I can't believe it's not hentai.
It's so
kind of
sad because there's a good story there, but they keep ruining it with the horny.
Oh, hey, now,
It is a
hold up.
good
That is a
Christian manga.
controversial point,
Because
and I will
oh,
fight you on that. The horny makes it better. But my point is that there's a couple standout shows this season, right? And we've named them off. But there's typically
YuGiOh Stone Ocean, dude.
okay, well,
It's
you
on
know
break
what?
right now, so it doesn't
you
count.
know what? I don't suck dick, okay? So, you know, I can't call myself
Maybe
a
you're
JoJo
missing
fan.
out, dude.
Apparently, I need to find more dicks. But
Well, it's like Demon Slayer just ended, so it's like that shit was.
Oh,
on
Demon
fire.
Slayer.
Oh my god.
that was the other
Demon
one I was
Slayer
trying
was-
to think about.
Oh god, Yu-Gi-Oh! 7 is still going. Oh god.
Yeah. Well,
So,
Don't
as
think too hard
local
about it.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Nerd, I have to double check on is there a new season? Yes, no, and then sigh quietly to myself.
yeah.
Well, I mean, like, think about it, though. How many new anime come out every single season? You have at least 20 shows that are all entirely new that come out every single season. But most of them this season in
Hold on.
particular are just carbon copies of one another.
Who the hell greenlit a new version of Duel Masters?
Wait, what? Seriously?
Duel
No.
Masters King!
Oh my god. I'm
Fair
actually
warning,
excited about that
Professor
now.
Shinobi and Trey really like Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot, so this is what they're going to talk about. For
No, we're talking about the Yu-Gi-Oh! ripoff. Duel Masters.
Wait, that's
Duel
not
Masters is
Yu-Gi-Oh?
100% a Yu-Gi-Oh ripoff because originally it was a Magic the Gathering manga, and they're like, that's not gonna sell. Let's make our own card game. How hard could it be? And then we're gonna dub with Japanese in the middle of our English lines because apparently that's cool as shit.
Man, I love that show. It was one of those Saturday morning cartoons that was just the right amount of stupid to get you through the day.
It feels like this is an anime that, like, Mad TV produced as a bit, and they're like, oh no, we're greenlighting this as an actual show, and they're like, you need to stop right now. You don't know what you're getting into.
I still have my old Duel Master cards.
That's
I
great.
still do too. They're probably in a box, unloved, and collecting dust.
I want to take a moment, since we're already talking about current anime, I do want to take a moment to say that one of my biggest regrets is that I haven't, and I probably will not, make a My Dress Up Darling video, like a commentary video. And the reason why is because, yes, I love that show. I really do. I was reading the manga a couple of years ago, and it's so wholesome. It's a lot of fun. The horny in that show is also incredibly palpable. It's crazy how I'll tell somebody, yeah, it's a really great show, you should check this out. And then I watch it with them for the first time, and then I see all of the horny that I did not mentally register at the time. And I'm like, oh no. Like, do I enjoy it? Yeah, man, whatever. Like, I dig that. But a lot of people don't, and that makes it harder to recommend shows like that to others. I try to aim for the content on this channel to be, like, primarily PG-13. So it's the same reason why I didn't make a commentary video about YuGiOh, and instead I had to shove my love for it into a, like, tongue-in-cheek joke at the beginning of my girlfriend video instead.
And
I can't.
That broke my heart.
I'm sorry. I mean, at least it's in a video on our channel, right? But, like, I could not justify making a video about YuGiOh because at the time it was like, look, this is the officer I can explain video, okay? Only I can't explain it. This is not cool in so many ways, but it's wholesome and it's fun. I can't in good conscience make a video about that. And it's similar to Dress Up Darling, where, like, there's just so many moments in that show I can't defend. And so it's like, I enjoy it, but I can't make a video about it primarily.
I did find there is one show coming out this year that I absolutely need you people to watch. Love Before World Domination.
Yeah, I will watch that one because that's a Sentai joke, and I'm here for it.
I've heard about that.
Does anyone here not know what that is?
I don't know much about it, but I've heard of it.
Okay, so let me give you the elevator pitch. You have a Sentai team. So you have red, green, blue, yellow, and pink. And they're all on Sentai team. And red is sitting down one day, and their Dr. Light Zordon equivalent comes over and goes, hey, Red, you look a little flustered. What's wrong? I don't know. Something's been on my mind. I like a girl. You like a girl? You're sure. Girls love you. Look, all you have to do is just go up to her, tell her you love her straight up, and let her know your feelings. Because then if she turns you down, you can focus back on the team. And if she likes you back, you get someone in return. That's a great thing to have. It's like, you know what? I'll set up the meeting. He sets up the meeting with the girl, and he just goes, I love you. And then she goes, I'm literally Rita Repulsa.
Oh.
She's the villainess on the other team, and they're dating, and it's so wholesome.
Yeah, I know exactly
I'm
what this. I know.
I'm
this
excited
show
for
now.
that one.
Oh God, yep, I've heard lots of good things about it.
I've read the manga; it is so good.
That's how I know about this. Is that I heard about the manga. It's been around for a while now, and people like they gas it up a lot. Okay. Yeah,
Wait, what's it called again?
Have you been watching?
It's romance sentai. It's so good.
Yes, Professor Shinobi. Have you watched Miss Koryutsu?
I don't think I have.
It's a new show airing this season. I couldn't stay with it, but it's literally about the villain's monster developer. So it's based in the Sentai world, and we're following one of the R&D specialists for making monsters, and it's kind of a workplace comedy almost.
So it's like Heaven's Research Academy, but for evil.
Yes.
Excellent.
There's just like there's so many shows to watch. It's so hard to keep on top of like.
Oh
the new
yeah,
stuff comes
that's
out
the
every
real
season.
challenge right now. Is that we also have jobs.
Yeah,
and
yeah. I
we
used
have
to
work,
cram
and then our
anime
time is
so hard
limited.
back in the day. Like I used to watch tons of anime when I was in college, but nowadays, like, yeah, I have room for maybe one show per season, and I prioritized right. My Dress Up Darling takes the spot for me this season. I am also watching that Isekai about the two dudes that get teleported to a new world, but one of them becomes a blonde like lolly instead, and it's just the most like. It's the funniest thing I've seen in a long time. It's got just that right level of low-budget humor in anime that I've missed for so long. And the awkward moments between the two just get better and better with every episode. Whoever came up with this idea, they struck gold. I want that show to get massively popular. I want it to make tons of money and get a second season. It deserves it. It has a long title, though. I can't really recall what the title is, but just search for it.
The time I got reincarnated into another world with a total fantasy knockout. No, it's My Ordinary Life in another world with a total fantasy knockout.
You see, Trey, he remembers it. That means he likes it. There's no way he would hate that show and not recall it off the top of his head on the drop of a hat.
It was a fun one.
I just know the name of my enemies.
Dude,
I know the name of my enemies.
You can't ignore the feelings in your heart, Trey. You know it to be true. That show's a freaking classic in the making.
Andrew, I try to get you to watch so many good shows, and you go straight to the show that I hate.
What are the good
most
shows?
this season.
What good shows are you trying to get me to watch?
I get you to try to watch. I try to recommend every good show I like.
What was the last show you recommended to me?
If I'm lucky.
What was the last show you recommended to me?
Well, Odd Taxi, and I had to force you to watch that.
Okay, well that was like what, 6 months ago? I'm asking for more. Screw you, Frank. I'm asking for more specific.
One of you transform into a girl.
What other shows? What other shows have you had to force me to sit down that I wasn't already interested in? Because I was already interested in YuGiOh. I was already interested in Horimiya. Like what other good stuff came out last year that you told me to watch and I did not watch? Is what I'm asking.
I don't know. Did you watch Komi Can't Communicate?
I did. That show's freaking great, dude. Like I love Komi.
That show a lot.
God, I need a second season right now, and they're making it, but it's not gonna come out for a little while, and I'm so impatient.
It's weird because like I'm very much an extrovert, and I really, really like that show, but it might also have to do with the fact that I married an introvert.
Well, you know, like I think the reason why Komi is popular, everybody knows why Komi is so successful because all the weebs see their inner selves with Komi. The only difference between us and Komi is that she's also so physically attractive that it doesn't matter if she's an introvert, she still succeeds at life.
For Komi is the alternate title for that.
Somebody on the internet who says like, oh, I love Komi, she's just like me. No, she freaking isn't, because if she was, you wouldn't be on the internet right now, would you?
Oh.
That's solid. Oh god. Sick burn.
I say that about myself too. It's like, look, if I was a super handsome Bishonen dude, yeah, I probably wouldn't be doing an anime podcast now, would I? But the reality is what it is. I am here now and I am who I am. I embrace it. You know, it's funny though. Like Komi's great. The humor is so incredibly well done. I love all of Komi's facial expressions in that show. Like her silent but like shocked and anxious expressions are incredibly adorable. They're fun.
So I have a fun fact about Komi Can't Communicate that I don't think you know, Andrew.
What is that?
You've met her voice actress.
No.
Wait, Ashley Tippett.
Amber Lee Connors is the
Oh.
voice actress for Komi, and I remember a certain panel you were at for Honey Pop.
Oh, no!
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh,
That's for the dub, isn't it?
You have more to relate to Komi than you realize.
This is a story. Oh my god, I forgot all about that.
Have you watched one show I keep recommending to you? I've been scrolling looking for shows. Ranking of Kings. Still say you should watch that just because it's so good.
Okay. I watched like some of the first episode of Ranking of Kings at Anime Club like a couple months ago. It's good. Yeah. No, I even watched like a Giga video where he talks about like, hey, you know, like don't judge this by its cover. There's actually tons of hype moments in Ranking of Kings. Heck, the main character is like great at dodging attacks. He becomes like freaking Ichigo out of nowhere, even though he's like a 5-year-old baby. So, nah, dude, there's hype and there's emotions and stuff there. Ranking of Kings is legit. I'm glad you reminded me of that. I probably should go watch it because I don't have a whole lot else I'm watching right now besides the Isekai comedy with the two business guys. So, that might help. Yeah, man, you know, I would really like to interview Amberly Connors if she ever comes back to Nebcon. She was really fun as a guest that one year she visited. I think it was like 2016 when she came down.
Yes.
And yeah, dude, I was really drunk when I went to that panel and it was late at night. And thank God she was just such a cool person. But that Honey Pop like crowd game we did, holy cow. She points, she's looking for a volunteer, right, to play the girl character that has to get hit on. And she's looking around the crowd, sees me in the far back rear left corner near the exit, and she says, yes, the poor guy who all of his friends keep pointing at him. Come up here, we'll pick you. I go up there, and my face is just stark cherry red from all of the booze I have had that night. I had just turned 21, so I was partying pretty hard. I don't remember a whole lot about that fan game that we did, but I remember I said some pretty stupid stuff, and the crowd loved it. And afterwards, I gushed to Amberly Connors about like her voice work, and she was really fun to have. And I told her I hoped that she'd come back and visit again. If she ever does, like, I would really love to like sit down and talk with her and maybe do like an interview video if she had the time for it, because she was really cool. But unfortunately, I don't think she's been back to the convention since.
No, she hasn't been back since. I actually remember the last time that she was at the convention. I had joked with her that since she, her big rules at the time were that she was Android 18 and Dragon Ball Z Abridged. And she is also Belly Raplun from Honey Pop. And I joked, it's like, hey, I'm sorry we didn't get you a maple leaf as part of the package deal for coming to our convention. He's like, you know what? I actually was waiting for like some person to get me a pine cone. And it's like, joke. And then the next day,
the character she voiced in Honey Pop was obsessed with pine cones, right?
Yeah, you would do collectibles of like nature items, and that would be like, this is how you get affection for this girl, is that you would hand her nature stuff like a pine cone and a leaf and a stick, I think, at some point. But what happened was that I had to walk between hotels, and there was a pine tree, and I saw a pine cone on the ground. And so I grabbed it. I go to the back of her autograph line, ask staff, and it's like, hey, I don't need an autograph, but I want you to remember that we were the first con to give you a pine cone. And she lit up like this thing was made of gold. She put it in her suitcase. She put lacquer on it. She put it on Twitter. That's like, pine cone.
Oh God, that she really did like that pine cone. Oh my God.
He legitimately wanted that pine cone, and I got it to her, and I'm like, hey, if we invite you back, you might get another. So here's what you do. Make a pine cone pyramid and like start thinking, have her come back to the con. Maybe it'll work.
Maybe, who knows?
Maybe, I don't know. You need more pine cones. You're not trying hard enough.
Clearly, I'm not. There's no pine cones around my apartment.
Well,
maybe you could get some from Florida. Order some from Florida. They're everywhere and they're freaking huge.
There are. Wait, hold up. There are pine trees in Florida?
Apparently,
I think they would like sweat to death.
No, I mean, when I lived in Naples, Florida for like 2.5 years, I had pine trees in my backyard, and the pine cones were freaking huge. Like, gosh, I'm trying to remember. I mean, much bigger than your fist closed, but
God.
like I mean, these things were massive, especially in the humidity when they opened up. Oh god, I'm trying to think of a good fruit, like almost like, you know, those decently, like, not a large coconut you buy at the store, but think a little bit bigger than that.
Like a grapefruit?
A little big, about that size, maybe a little bigger. These things were huge.
Florida is a hodgepodge of everything. The more south you go, the more north you get.
Also, in Australia, I think there is a tree that survived from like the dinosaur age, where these pine cones are like super fucking massive, like extremely huge. Let me see if I can look it up real quick.
Here, well, real quick, like I do want to like shift gears and talk about anime Nebraskon again, because we did bring it up.
Sure.
And I wanted to acknowledge real quick the guest interview videos that we published on our channel about a month and a half ago. I don't think I've said it yet on the record, and I doubt that the guests will be listening to this podcast, but if they do, you know, to both Lisa Ortiz and Bill Butts, who were kind enough to take time out of their busy schedules over NebCon weekend last year in October and sit down and talk to us and do those interviews, you know, we are massively grateful to you guys for doing that.
Oh, definitely. We love and appreciate both of you so much.
Those interviews turned out really well, and it's some of our finest work on the channel. I'm really proud of that stuff. And both interviews, they still climb in views every day. You know, they're still getting more views all the time.
Do you want to talk about like the last question that Bill got and how you got it?
So yes, for those who watched the interview, you might notice that the last question that we asked Bill had to do with his favorite barbecue and what barbecue places he recommended in Kansas City, because that is essentially where he's from. He loves Kansas City barbecue, and I didn't know that until we were sitting down before the convention. We were planning out the interviews and what questions we were going to ask so we could send them off to the NebCon staff for approval, and Professor Shinobi here, he was the one that brought up that Bill is actually a huge fan of barbecue. So
the reason that I said that was that, yeah, what happened was that I followed him on Twitch because it's like I actually knew him before he did a lot of voice acting work, and he was just like, he dressed up as an Old Spice guy. So imagine him with just the towel on, with a thing of soap, and it's like that was his cosplay, and he does a really good job of it.
Nice.
But he is constantly
he's
working
so
out.
Ripped. Oh my gosh, I follow him on Twitter now.
Working out constantly. Like his last tweet that I saw was, "Hey man, which one are you running back for?" And it's like, bro, I voice cartoons for a living.
Yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah.
So what he would do is that he would get other voice actors on his Twitch and he would do interviews, and he would be like, okay, I'm going to open up chat and take questions from there. And I would always ask, what's your favorite kind of barbecue? Because it was something that I knew Bill loved, and it was an easy question for like anyone else to answer. And I got wild different answers. Like, the voice actor for Android 17 knows a lot about barbecue. It's weird.
Cool.
Like, he went into lore about like where he thinks like the division of 3 different sauces came from, and it's like, what the hell? Okay, yeah, sure. And some of the basic answers were like, I like Korean barbecue.
Yeah.
But it's like the moment I saw the list, it's like, Andrew, man, if you do not include this question, you're doing it wrong. Ask him about barbecue. Trust me, you will get a response.
And I almost forgot was the thing.
Yeah, I rushed over to Andrew as he was wrapping up the interview and was like, barbecue.
Yeah. I remember, like, I ran out of my list of questions, and I say to Bill, well, I'm pretty sure that's everything. And then Trey runs over from the camera position he's at to whisper in my ear, ask about the barbecue. I go, oh, that's right. What's your favorite barbecue? And Bill just explodes with laughter, and you can see it in the interview video.
We'll
great.
save it for
so
the video, but
enthusiastic.
you need to see it for that response alone.
Yeah.
And the editing that you do for this scene is just top notch.
Yeah, thank you, man. It was a lot of fun getting to talk to Bill. He was so just enthusiastic and full of energy, and you know, that really, if anything, that made me feel comfortable talking to him. Like, I typically look at the interviewer's job is to make the interviewee comfortable, but instead he pulled me into his energy, and that just made it so much fun to talk to him. So
I think a lot of it is just his background is a lot in interview, in journalism, in acting, and so it's a very natural environment for him.
He in the interview he talks about where his career started. You know, he used to work at a radio station. You know, and he would do like on stage acting and stuff like that. So he understands all of those concepts about that world already. So no, he was very comfortable on camera, very talkative, and Lisa as well. Like, man, we didn't even know we were going to interview Lisa until Bill and Lisa showed up together. We'd only gotten one interview like granted for us at the time, which was Bill, and he shows up and Lisa's there too. And I remember our point of contact says like, yeah, you can interview them both. I'm like, oh snap, okay. And I remember when Lisa started talking about Pokemon, I could just feel the hype from Trey behind me just getting like more and more prominent. Like, that was a dream come true for you, I bet.
Yeah, she voices Karina from Pokemon, so it was, and I could recognize her voice as soon as she started talking. I'm like, oh snap, that's her. And when she's like, she's the director for Pokemon, and then she brought up, like in the video, she mentions how that guy over there is reacting to her telling us that she got a voice acting job for a show that was airing at the time. Battle starts in 5 seconds.
Right,
and she was voicing a character, and I'm like, oh my god, she is perfect for that character.
Yeah, no, it was great. She was a lot of fun to talk to, and she had tons of stuff to say. Really, we're eternally grateful to both of them for agreeing to take the time, and we hope to see him again in the future. But yeah, you know, those videos, they're up now, and anybody listening to this podcast who hasn't seen them yet, please go check them out. It was a real labor of love working on those. You know,
yeah. Links will be in the iCard when I edit this video later.
Sure, go ahead. For me, I took a lot of time to work on them. Like, I edited those videos myself personally, and it took a couple months to make them happen. It was longer. The process for production editing was longer than I wanted it to be, but I realized how special those videos were, and I knew that they were going to be really good, so I wanted to put as much polish and quality into them as possible. And everybody who I've talked to said they really enjoyed them, so that is key. You know, that's what gets me up at the beginning of every day, is knowing that there's people out there who enjoy the content we make. So and that's not the end of the road with our NebCon 2021 coverage. We have more content on the way. I'm not going to say what it is. I'm not going to give any hints towards it yet, because I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. But we still have...
You interviewed a lot of people, I think it's fair to say.
Expect a 2-hour-long documentary about Nebraskon.
Frank,
interviewers on...
You're gonna kill me.
We got interviews. We got B-roll shots of us running around the whole building 6 times. We got a Snorlax interview. We got
a man dressed as a Snorlax laying on someone's car.
There's a Snorlax interview in there. Oh my god, I forgot about the Snorlax.
Wait, that wasn't a joke?
We had a Snorlax in the video. It's yeah. Basically, everybody, like, look forward to the next video we're going to make. It's still going to be a bit of time before it comes out, unfortunately. But I spent the last 2 weeks of my life just scripting and writing and editing constantly every minute that I wasn't at my part-time job. I'm exhausted, but this is going to be a really good video. So, you know, I hope everybody looks forward to it when it comes out. There's a couple other things.
Want to know, did we go to Hooters? Who knows? Maybe.
We did not go to Hooters. Frank wanted to go to Hooters, and it didn't happen.
I wanted to see a bunch of introverted nerds just not make eye contact with anyone in that
place. Context.
I would have died laughing knowing. Would have died knowing that Hooters nearby the convention center heard about it, had so many cosplayers waiting for it, and were dressed up as succubi, just waiting for people, and nobody came because everybody was too shy.
No.
I really wanted to see just a bunch of nerds in costumes not make eye contact with anyone in that place.
Wait, are you telling me the waitresses actually did cosplay?
No, I'm just saying I want to see a skit like that. Or Or like the opposite, where you have like someone who's dressed up as Sephiroth, who is like Komi can't communicate levels in Hooters because it's the closest place you can find a burger without a mile-long line.
There it is, man.
That's
That's a comic book strip right there that you just described. That's a comic book strip. Somebody could make that 4-panel Sephiroth goes to
Make
Hooters
the title as long
right
as
now.
the sword.
Yeah. Holy
We have
cow,
your
man.
wings. He stabs it through the plate as he's holding the thing. No, again, I really.
Oh my god, hold on. I think I know the title. It's called One Winged Angel No Social Contract.
I'd be down for that.
That's a TikTok. Let's make a TikTok real quick.
Yeah. Nope, that was there, and I'm happy we didn't go. Somebody asked me the other day. I think it was our buddy Noah asked me if I plan on going to Nebcon again this year. Absolutely. I plan on going back again. To what extent, that remains to be said, but we'll definitely be going to Nebcon again this year because it's our local con, and it's a great place to go. Anybody who's listening should give it a try if you've never been.
Especially since it's going to be back at the Mid-America Center. So much space.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of space there. It's nice.
So much space. Yeah, without saying too much, I'm actually staff at that convention, and when I found out that we're going there, it's like, are we just invading Iowa? And we're like, we just cannot be contained in Nebraska anymore.
Let's see.
So is it now no longer should be called Nebraskon since it's no longer in Nebraska?
Well, it has to be called
I
Nebraskon.
literally had people tell me they don't want to go to that con because it's not in Nebraska anymore, and we're lying to them.
It's
And I'm like,
literally-
if that is the biggest reason that you're not going, you need to shut up.
It's literally like 11 minutes away from the old convention center. Like it's Council Bluffs.
literally is!
Council Bluffs. The joke is that it's practically part of Nebraska.
It's part of the Omaha Metro, so...
Yeah, no, it's silly.
You can
That's
throw a rock
silly,
at
dude.
the Henry Dorley Zoo.
Yeah. No, anybody who says that, like they're making big, a hill out of a molehill. Wait, whatever the saying is, mountain out of a molehill. But but anyways, yeah, no, like those videos were great. Look forward to more content. I don't have a great transition for this, so I'm just gonna bring it up. I want to talk about Halo Infinite here for a moment, because
about to go crazy.
Halo Infinite is not going crazy whatsoever.
Dead game low.
Dead game.
Oh, we were playing that last
Hashtag.
night. It was another big thing, and we actually got to see what it was like, and it's different.
The game is different now than when it came out. Not because of content that was added to the game, but because of the players who are there. The player base has shrunk significantly in the past 3 months, so that now most of the people who play Halo Infinite are very serious about the game, and they most likely practice every day. I feel like
Sounds about right.
the barrier of entry for that game is just getting higher. Because if you want to go in there and play for fun, you're just gonna get demolished. And that's if you go into quick play mode, the noob territory for people who are just playing casual. Yeah, man, you're gonna get stomped in quick play, much less ranked mode. So it's
there was a time
sad.
that I had a KD that was 620.
I remember that.
It's not good.
Me, Professor Shinobi, and our buddy Drew, the three of us only played 2 matches together last night for a cumulative probably 20 minutes, and they were both awful. We won the second round, mind you, but did we enjoy it? No. We were hustling, sweating. We were working our butts off to secure that second victory. It wasn't fun. And there was a moment where the other team clearly had a guy who was just better than the rest of them, and he was wearing the full samurai outfit with the antler helmet. And there's one point where he snipes Drew and then starts crouching Drew, and that was the second the game really changed in tone, because Drew got really angry.
Oh yeah,
Drew got really angry. I got upset on his behalf.
Crouch video.
We literally called at the time. That's we stopped leaning back in the chair. We leaned forward.
Yep, we sat on the edges of our chairs after that point. And what happened was, we were playing oddball, right? You have to hold onto the ball for consecutive 100 seconds, and you need to win 2 rounds in order to win the game. First round we lost, and then Drew gets crouched. So the second round we pulled out all the stops, and we won the following 2 rounds. But we had to just work hard for that. I remember I was crouched in a corner holding the ball, and Drew and our rando, it was just the 2 of them holding off all 4 enemy team members.
I did snipe one person who was trying to be cheeky to get through a window, but we also won that game 100 points to 1.
Yeah, we won that game 100 points to 1. Professor Shinobi here was giving me cover. He was sitting with me while I held the ball, and he was, keeping an eye out. But Drew racked up 38 kills total.
Yeah, it was embarrassing.
I held onto the ball for 3 straight minutes, and I got a KD of 15 to 14 with 12 assists. We had to really work hard. And after that was done, we were all exhausted, and we're just I'm done. I'm done playing this game tonight. I need to go to bed. This is not, it wasn't fun. And that's what sucks. It's I don't want to spend even more time playing this game than I already do. And I know there's parts where I can improve, but am I trying to be a pro player?
Yeah.
No, I'm not trying to be a pro player. I just don't want to lose 10 out of 11 matches that I play on any given day. So, nah, man, Halo Infinite is just going downhill. And even all the massive proponents of the game, the big YouTubers who make content about it, not us included, they've all been saying that the game is slowly dying and there's not enough content. So that doesn't boost the morale either. It's sad. But at the same time, this is probably healthy for me because I'm slowly edging off of my addiction to that game. Because I was addicted to Halo, very unfortunately, for between beginning of November up until end of January. I'm playing Soul Calibur 6 now, and I'm having a lot of fun with that. So that's kind of helping me break the addiction. But I wanted to bring it up because as of the recording of this podcast, 343 Industries, they released their update for Season 2, which begins in May. And they detailed some new content that's coming. Frank, can you kind of run down what they announced?
Yeah, so I was looking at their the website, the Halo Waypoint or other. Mm-hmm. That's the thing they're dropping most of the news from. But they're doing bug fixes. They're working on new content. There'll be new maps and modes. I recently just saw that maybe co-op for single player might be, down the line a little bit more further than the May 3rd or whatever drop.
Yeah.
But new maps, new modes. They're adding a new side storyline to the season. Yeah. So most times, this is similar to I played Call of Duty a lot, so this is similar to that. Basically, the main story doesn't change. It doesn't matter in the long run of it, but it's that it adds world building and flavor. So the new Fracture events will be something about lone wolves and something like that.
Yeah, I saw that. Sounds pretty lame.
You learn more about.
To be honest.
You learn about two another Halo, two another Spartans.
Yeah. So, they both look like losers. they both look like total LARPers. Nah,
yeah, and they dropped new concept art for the new armor.
Yeah, that actually looked kind of cool.
I don't think it's core. I don't think it's core. It might be just new armor in general.
It's an armor core.
But remember, that's just a concept art. It's probably not going to look like that completely.
Yeah, but that looks like a lot more like the Doom guy than anything else.
It kind of reminds me of Fallout in a way. It looks like there's gas tanks on the armor core's back.
I mean, it looks fucking sweet as hell. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But I at this point I'm trying to figure out because I bought the season pass for this first one.
Mm-hmm.
Got through it, pretty done. But 4 months or so, I had nothing to strive for except for 10 right ones or any of the new events coming through.
Mm-hmm. There's not enough unlockables in that game anymore. I reached level 100 back in December. And I've had nothing to do ever since. And the weekly challenges, you have to spend tremendous amounts of time in order to achieve the weekly challenge reward. And sometimes the reward is like totally bogus. Like,
yeah, you can have a skin, or you can have a decal on your small decal.
and even then, those are rare. You know, like a weapon coating, that'd be kind of cool. Like maybe I'd work for that, or like an armor coating. No, dude, half of the rewards are like stickers to put on a warthog, or like a nameplate emblem.
It's all about the aesthetics, man.
It's not the good ones. Like, everybody cares about the armor aesthetics, and 343 is just not doing that. They're not doing enough of it. I get it. It's a free to play game, so they gotta make their money somehow, right? But it just doesn't feel like there's enough to achieve or earn in the game. You just have to pay for it with actual money. So, yeah, you know, the hype's really just dying off. That's kind of sad, but who knows?
I
You know,
mean, it
maybe
does not
people
help
through
that
will
a
come back.
lot of streamers are hopping onto these massive open world games to almost bring us back to the
Elden
circle.
Ring.
It's like Elden Ring, Horizon Zero Dawn just came out. We're gonna have like 6 other games coming out by the end of this year that are just gonna take over people's lives. Like supposedly God of War Ragnarok's supposed to come out this year. No confirmation,
Yes.
but it's supposed to happen. The new Kirby game is gonna eventually come out.
Yeah,
It's
yep.
like,
Hype for that.
I really want Kirby to just have some sort of metal mode where you have him come up and he has a pod and it'll just say something similar to like,
Mail received from command.
What was that? What was that?
that was me imitating the pod by pulling up my
Oh
phone
my
and using
gosh,
my
that was
actual mail. I had this bit prepared for an hour.
The near automata pod sound effect. Well done. Well done. This is beautiful.
And it seems like it's time to end the stream. Goodbye, guys. Have fun. Yeah.
I'm gonna go check my mail or something.
Yeah, I think it's time I moved on to a new game anyways. I'm just
We
not
can
feeling
play
like Halo.
Apex.
Shut up, Frank.
no, we're not playing
Shut up,
Apex.
Come play
Um,
Destiny.
Shut up, Oscar.
No. Dead game
I don't know. What do I want? I'm probably just gonna play Soul Cal because Ed's really gotten me into that. It's a shame because I'm like 3 or 4 years late to that game, but I've always wanted to like actually play a Soul Cal game for once. The last Soul Cal game I played was 2 for the GameCube, back when it came out.
Oh God.
So, yeah.
Man, yeah.
Yeah, so I've missed out for
I will
quite a long time.
absolutely try to play against you in Soul Calibur 6, and I also played a lot of 4 and 5, so I might have slightly more experience, but we'll see.
Yeah,
I still got Soul Cal 6 ready to go. I just couldn't play before because when I tried to play with Ed back when our internet was still garbage, it was literally a slideshow. It was literally a slideshow fighting him.
Yep, I can see that. And his internet has its moments too, so it's a recipe for disaster.
Well, and also is something to say that I will say this on record, Ed is just strictly better at Astaroth than I am in pretty much every character on the planet.
I went over to Ed's
Ed plays
house.
these games.
I went over to Ed's house like a week ago to hang out for a bit, have some dinner, and we were gonna play games together. Hadn't agreed on which game yet, but I knew it was gonna be Soul Cal. I just knew it, so I brought my PS4 controller with me. After we eat dinner, we watch a little bit of Dirty Pair together. Great OVA anime series from like the 80s. Y'all should go watch it. We went up to.
It's on Crunchyroll.
It is on Crunchyroll?
Wait, what?
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, it's on
show is it?
Crunchyroll. I just looked at the list.
It's called Dirty Pair.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you should definitely
If
give
you
it
were
a watch.
familiar
It's
with the
fun.
Game Grumps, that's what they base Game Gyouder off of too.
Got it. Okay. Well, anyways, like we finish watching, and then we go to play Soul Cal. Very rarely nowadays do I see Ed get so hyped that he just keeps talking, and he is just full of energy. He's pointing at the screen. He's like, okay, so when you press the buttons like this and do the direction down, like down forward, and hit B and A at the same time, you pull up this super sick combo, right? But it's gonna leave you open for this amount of frames. You cannot let the other person take advantage of you. You gotta back out of this. This is how you cancel the animation. Like, I was really happy to see how excited he was to show me Soul Cal, because I don't have that kind of energy for anything anymore in my life.
It's funny because I remember watching Summer Wars with him, and then someone brought up the thing of like, why are they doing like kung fu practice when he's supposed to be playing a video game, and we literally break out by going, you realize that kung fu translates not to martial art but practice skill? So literally, fighting games and Yu-Gi-Oh are kung fu.
Yes.
The mentality definitely.
As Avatar taught me, it's bitter work.
Yeah.
It is a continued skill that you just get better at by just getting more matches in.
Yeah.
It's
And games
good.
like that, they require a heavy amount of skill, which you have to learn by doing, and you have to actively work to, like, grow and get past mistakes you make and learn from them and improve your overall, like, prowess at said game. You know, like, you have to take them seriously. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah,
Like,
you absolutely do.
People really underestimate the amount.
I mean,
of time
Halo
that
Infinite
goes
could be a kung fu if you really grind at it.
Halo Infinite is exactly the same in that definition. It is also a skill that you have to learn, you have to practice every day. It's just that I have dumped 300 hours into that game and I still suck, and my morale is slowly going down. I especially when I had to work so hard.
What we need to do.
Night. I kind of want to do like I kind of want to do like custom games. Spike ball.
Yeah, we need to play spike ball. Oddball, but everybody has the skewer, and everybody has slightly low gravity with grapple hooks.
Huh. That
Perfect.
actually sounds pretty cool.
Let's play Attack on Titan and get the skull.
Yep,
Yeah, you know, I think custom games would be the way to go. Like, if we can get like a group of us together again, like we did on New Year's Eve.
12-person Fiesta!
12-person Fiesta crammed into Aquarius? Dude, I'm all for that. I am 100% on board with that level of chaos. Please. Please. We shoved 12 people into an FFA Slayer on Aquarius, and it was awful. It was so, like, there was just consistent flow. You could not take a chance to breathe in that match. Y'all can go watch our live stream and skip forward to FFA Slayer. I died a lot. I fell off hard halfway through that match, but it was fun.
Kevin Yamate.
Kevin mopped the floor with us, man.
Yamate. Oh god! I mean, we definitely need to do a group version of that again, because I think that's the only reason why it's more fun. It's that
do it with friends
who
rather
we
than
know,
against randos.
Yeah, we know. Who, yeah.
Oh yeah,
And,
you totally need everyone on voice chat for this, for the absolute chaos that would ensue.
As per Philip's very consistent requests, we will change up the team lineups next time to make them more quote-unquote balanced, as he requested. Which was not due to any fault of my own. I constantly asked in the weeks leading up to that stream, hey, this is the lineup I have for each team in mind. What do y'all think? And I know for a fact that he didn't say jack about either team's lineup. He did not give me any feedback. He saw them and just didn't give a crap. And then, of course, the day of the game comes. He's like, oh, they're cheating. They're totally cheating. They have all the better teammates. Yeah, Philip, go suck it, man.
Okay, well, here's my complaint about this. I am on a level of Halo that I'm pretty sure equates to, I think the gun points this way.
I mean, and you weren't the only one.
I'm not the best one on there. And when it's like, oh, well, you're complaining, it's like, no, I was literally second to last on these matches. I need assistance.
Yeah. I mean, you weren't the only one in that boat. We had multiple tiers of experience in Halo in both teams, and I tried to make it as diverse as possible. So, I mean, Frank is pretty good at Halo. Like, Spencer's been playing it for half of his life. What I underestimated was Matt's level of prowess. I thought he would be better because he would be working with Spencer and the two of them live together. I was wrong, and that's partially because Matt had bad connectivity issues during the stream. So he got a bad roll of the dice, unfortunately. And Philip was great, but he ran off on his own a lot, so that didn't help your guys' teamwork very much. Either way,
targeting John.
He kept targeting John and targeting me, and it's like, okay, great, but there's an objective. Go for the objective.
I don't think he ever played Reach. Otherwise, he would never have gotten scolded by an NPC that goes, I don't want any of that lone wolf crap. That ends here.
There was a lot of lone
He's like,
wolf
I
going
remember
on.
Reach. The last mission is called Survive.
Yeah. The last mission is just survive.
Like, no, the last mission is called Lone Wolf, and it's called Survive, and it's called that because it's supposed to be ironic.
Right, exactly. Anyways, no, that's kind of all I had to say about Halo Infinite. I just wanted to address, because it is a bit of a hot topic at the moment, and we've done our fair amount of content on that game already. We're currently at 2 hours for the podcast. I'm out of topics for discussion. Did you guys want to talk about anything?
No, I do want to plug my tournament Arc Madness real quick.
Yes.
If you haven't gotten a chance to vote yet, please do. You can vote on our Facebook page, and there are a couple polls still open on my Twitter, so if you want to find that. Mm-hmm. And guys, if you haven't voted in the Discord, vote in the Discord.
I will go do that as soon as the podcast is over. I will definitely.
On a random note, I don't know if it's me, but sometimes when I hear you guys talk, it kind of gets all mechanically and
that's
fades
me.
in and out.
That's me. We talked about this before the stream started. Yeah, I've been having some Discord issues. I don't think OBS is interpreting them. I think the audio sounds fine to the viewers, but yeah, my interface is having some weirdo glitchy things going on today. Such is the nature of technology, especially streaming technology, where Murphy's Law is prominent in every step of the way.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Frank, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No. I mean, probably should do more streams for games. That seems to be very popular to people, so...
Yeah,
that's the problem. We all need to be able to stream, but not all of us are capable of streaming.
Well,
yeah. I get that.
I have an idea of how to rectify that a little bit, but it's going to cost me money.
Yeah, and I don't have time.
The other problem, too, is that Frank in particular, he has a full-time job that's very demanding. I have a part-time job that is still demanding, and I'm stretched 5 different ways with Advent 7 at the moment. But, yeah, I think we're going to do more gaming streams moving forward. We've already had a lot of streams over the last couple weeks in particular. Spencer, I anticipate Spencer's going to be back with another Elden Ring stream within, the next week. I'm pretty sure he's definitely going to stream again. He's got everything he needs for that, thankfully. Frank has everything he needs for any PC games he wants to stream.
Yeah,
I think that we're going to make more stuff happen. The hardest part about what we do here with Advent 7, Noah, he and I had lunch the other day, and he asked me the same question I get asked a lot. What is the stream schedule for Advent 7? The sad truth of the matter is we don't have a set schedule right now, and that's because we all do this out of our free time, purely out of passion. We do streams and podcasts and videos and content when we can. And for some of us, for me in particular, I want this to be my full-time job. But it's going to be a long time getting there. And so we kind of have to make sacrifices at the moment and do this where we can.
Yeah.
But all of us really have responsibilities outside of Advent 7 that we need to tend to first and foremost. So that is why there's not a consistent stream schedule yet. There will be at a certain point in time, but at this time, we're doing the content when we can. So we ask for everybody.
Kind of testing the waters for seeing what's popular.
Yeah,
it's also herding cats with us, though.
Well,
I mean, yes, but if you were like, "Hey, man, you're off work. Do you want to go play Soul Calibur, or do you want to stream YuGiOh Master Duels?" I'm gonna say, "Hell yeah, I want to do that."
Yeah, right, exactly. We're gonna do this when we want to and when we're able to. So definitely expect more content from us. Just be a little patient. That's all we ask for. We will,
and give us feedback about what you want to see too.
That Please. Too. We always we would love more feedback from our viewers on what they want to see and on the quality of content we're currently delivering. There's tons of ways we can improve, and we aim to improve. So, especially
if you're listening this far into a podcast.
Right, yeah. Well, honestly, I think this has been a really productive podcast all around. We talked about a very wide variety. We had
connections, we had stories, we had arguments.
Especially arguments. That was great.
Especially arguments. And we learned that there are 2 different types of Isekai, so you can shut the hell up.
Oh my god. Oh god,
Time
my
travel
brain
is not-
hurts. My brain hurts thinking about that. Like, I did not realize how deep.
Isekai Tenni!
I didn't realize how deep that conversation was gonna go. I was like, oh my god, like there really is a lot of variation here. I mean, again, it's just like open world definitions, right? What is the definition of isekai? It's very dependent from person to person. We all kind of have our own perceptions of that. Now, some of them are correct and some of them are not, but we won't get into that.
That's another podcast where we yell at each other.
Probably could make a dedicated isekai podcast. That we haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
At
We
any
should just
rate,
have a podcast that's titled Kornewa Isekai Deska.
Oh god, we can't be that weeaboo. We can't be that weeaboo.
I think we can. I think we should.
We can, well, okay, fine. We'll call it an English title called Isekai or Not.
At any rate, I'm going to close out this podcast. Thank you very much for everybody for tuning in today. We really appreciate it. I'm Andrew, and I was joined by Trey, Frank, Oscar, Professor Shinobi. Y'all are very wonderful people. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it. Please check out some of our other content. There's going to be links in the description below here. For all things anime, video games, and comic books, please follow us on Twitter at advent_7. Visit our website, advent7.com, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for listening. We will see you all next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Don't get hit by a truck.
What was that?
I don't know. I just heard Andrew say Yagabai.
Yagabai. Have you guys not been paying
Yagabai.
attention to our sign-offs?
You don't know Yagabai? You need
my
to
God,
we need to get cultured there,
we
bud.
suck as a team.
I don't even watch our content most of the time.
And that is
Get
why
on
we're
that
not
then.
doing well.
That's why we're not getting views. We're not even doing it ourselves.
I'm not the weakest link.
I think you are, because you just admitted to it. You admitted. No, whatever. I'm going to berate you after this is over. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Yeah,
Yagabai.
Armed!